right, we are back on Sunday Funday. What's going on? Well, don't know. Gonna finish cutting this quarter off. We're gonna definitely get the new quarter hung in place and begin welding it on, that's for sure. And yeah, maybe get this door off, get the other door on. Uncertain. We'll see where we go. Yeah, that's about it. Snow stayed away, only got a little bit, not much. I'll show you outside actually. I know a lot of you guys are always like, I can't believe you ain't got snow, but you remember that day I showed you, they said 3 to 4 centimeters, or 2 to 4 centimeters or something, which is, what's that, a couple inches, and that's all we got. And you can see right now, all I've got out here is just like a dusting. There's nothing around. It's just a light dusting, nothing on the roofs, all clear. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Got a new sign. Got another sign. Wife bought me. 15-minute parking. Put it right there. Figured that's a good place in front of the bus stop. Bus has got to get in, so you know, you got 15 minutes and get your car out of the way. Anyway, she's always looking for stuff for me. I mean, you know, always gathering stuff up, right? Remember last week I showed you the bike up there that I had gotten. So yeah, she got that. That was cool. Appreciate that. And then she got me a come in the bar here. She got me that little cowboy guy up there next to the skull. That little bastard. That's little Ricky when I was young. And then she got me this road map. And it's not just a road map, he lists all the events all over. And look at the Chilliwack Western Carnival in July. And then Revelstoke, all sorts of stuff. You'd have to open it up, but I put it up there. Pretty cool. We had a beer Friday here this Friday. It was a good time. I don't know how many people showed up. I think 12 or 14 people showed up that I invited over. You know, it was a really good time. Everyone shows up, they bring what they're going to drink. Some people bring snacks. I always put snacks out here too. You know, usually it's on a Friday, starts at 3, ends around 6 or 7. And excellent time. We got a new member, Jeff. Not Pete, Jeff. he came by and he moved out to Chilliwack, or he's moving into Chilliwack. He's a hot rodder, great guy. He's literally going to live 10 minutes away from me, so that's great to know there's another guy that's into old school hot rods like myself, that's going to be out here. So he just dropped by and Beer 30 was going on, and I said, get your ass in here, we got beer. So away we go, and that was good. Because remember, I was on the wagon for January, now I'm off. But with that being said, believe it or not, after it was all said and done, I only had 4 drinks. That was it. 2 beer, a rum, and a whiskey. And that was it. That's all I had, and I don't know. You might be saying, well, 4 drinks. Normally, if that was me from 3 to 6 o'clock back in the day, God, I would have had at least 8 to 10 by now. But yeah, just got shit going on. I think it's winter time too. I don't feel like drinking in the winter, and I just want to work on my cars. And I had to go to the paint booth the following day too. I had to be there for 8 a.m. So hey, had to be good. So anyway, that's it. So anyway, we're going to attack, finish getting this quarter off. Is what we're going to do. That's our first step right here. So let me drag some tools and get some stuff set up, and away we will go. Okay, well, we got the upper half cut off here. We're letting our black rust inhibitor dry, and I've also got along here, I've got my weld-through primer because I want to make sure that's on there because we're going to plug weld into there. Alright, so we got that all off. Let that dry up, and then I'll straighten this out with some pliers a little bit, obviously. So my next step is I got to do a teeny bit more trimming here, and then we got to obviously get into the jam here, because we have a jam on there. All right, and you remember I said last week on this one, because they were full quarters, they came with the window opening. On this one, the other side of it damaged, had been hit really bad, and it was rusting and peeling away, so I just did the whole quarter. On this one, I left this one because it's in really good shape. And I know some wouldn't do it, but I whacked the quarter down here. So I'm going to have a little bit of a weld seam along here. But it's up top, it's minimal, it'll be fine. And believe it or not, that's going to save me probably 3 or 4 hours of work by leaving that up there. So next I'm going to work on the jam area, and I also then what I also got to do is I got to start drilling all the holes in here to plug weld it on the back where you just saw back in this area along here. It's going to plug weld on, right? As you can see on this side, there you go. It's going to look just like that. So that's what you get there. And again, this is where the factory lead would have been. They would have leaded that. So we're not going to lead that. We're gonna Duraglass that. That's right, I said it. We're going to Duraglass it. So that's what we're going to do. So anyway, I'm going to start doing some more chopping. See where we get. All right, we're starting to get some of this cut away here. Again, remember that your outer edge along here, it spot welds. Now we're going to plug weld it onto here. And what this is the foundation for this and behind. So what I've done here, started cleaning up along here. You obviously want to have it to bare metal. Drilled my holes out there where we're going to plug weld. And remember, when you drill a hole, you always get a burr on the backside. So remember to go with the grinder on the backside and you know, knock off them burrs and then hit it with some rust through primer so it's not bare metal. Little tips like that come in handy. Sometimes I've seen people drill a hole and try and put a panel up and it's not sitting down. It's because it's got burrs in behind. Stupid shit like that we all neglect and forget. You know, and again, don't forget when you're doing these quarters to save the piece on the inside that I showed you last week to weld in there to hold your gas door on, or else you're screwed if you lose that too, right? So, yeah, we're slowly getting there. Not rushing too much because I was waiting for all this to dry up, which it has. So it dried up now, that's good, you know. And yeah, there's certain things that some of you might see. You might see like all this old undercoating. This is that thick shit they screw up, they sprayed up in there in the day. You know, you say, why aren't you sanding all that off and taking it right down? And I'm not doing that. It's not coming off. I'm knocking it off where it's falling off, but where it's on here like solid, I'm not gonna sit here and scrape all that off. Why? Who's ever gonna see it? Yeah. Someone's gonna take my car apart and pull the quarter panel off to see that I scraped this all down. I painted it super nice, shiny black. Paid all that money for the guys to waste their time to spray all something you're never gonna see. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm just leaving it. Like I say, if it's big lumps that are falling off, you get rid of it. You get rid of all the loose stuff. I usually start with an air gun first, blow, see what comes off, then I hit it with a scraper, see what comes off that way. And you know, that stuff I got to start chunking, pushing real hard like that. Then I don't bother with. I just kind of wire wheel over it and spray over it and let it be, like in here. Just let it be. For me, anyway. It's solid. Nothing's gonna go wrong. So. But some people, they would see this and they would say, why wouldn't you just blast all of it right down to bare metal and get everything off of there? And some people would go to the trouble of painting it even body color in there, and I'm just like, oh my God, who is ever going to get in behind there? Oh, you've just wasted so much money. Take that time and energy and money and spend it on the outside of your car. My opinion anyway. But hey, does my opinion matter? Probably not. Anyway, let's continue on. Alright, we'll try fitting the quarter on here right now. Just making sure everything is kind of working. Clamping it down, making sure everything goes here. So normally what I'll do, whether you believe this or not, I'll clamp this down. I haven't clamped it yet. I'm just showing you real quick. I'll put a spot weld here because I want to pull them clamps off. I don't want no clamps here because I've seen so many people clamp it, think it's all fine, and weld it up. Then they realize the gap is off between the chunk and the quarter. So sometimes you got to push the quarter over that way or this way. So I got a clamp there. I'll put a clamp here. I'll do a spot weld, or no, just a little tack, I should say, and I'll do a tack up there just so I can remove the clamps. Not worried about tacking, nothing here. And I'll do the same when it comes in the door jamb. I'll do a couple tacks inside the jamb here. Do a couple tacks inside the jamb. Then I'll pull the clamp out of the way and close the door and make sure you got a good line. Now you see what I'm doing here? Remember I said I'm not using a window? You guys have seen me do this trick many times. I've cut my quarter back. It's overlapping on the existing quarter. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to slightly cut along here, and this piece is going to fall down in. And you can get your hand in there, and I'm just going to tack, tack, tack slowly as I go, and it will be butt welded in. So this is the area that's going to come along. It's going to need a little bit of filler up here, where it wouldn't need any filler had I used this whole window section of the new one, which is, it's laying right there. I cut it off. But like I say, it's so many more hours and so much more work, and I just have no reason to get into here. This is a lot of drilling to get this out. All the spot welds down in here. It's all spot welded up in here. It's, like I say, doing it this way is going to save me 3 or 4 hours of work. The bad thing out of doing it this way is I'm going to have a light skim of filler right here. It's going to be butt welded. It's going to be ground down either side. It's going to be rust paint on the back side, then seam sealed on the back side, then texture sprayed on the back side. And the water never sits up here. You get water sitting up in these areas, and that's when you start getting rust. So I'm not concerned about that. And the nice thing is I've still used the whole quarter here, so there'll be nothing there. So it is what it is. So right now I'm going to put a few more clamps on, get a couple spot welds on it, remove the clamps, check the gap on the chunk lid, check the gap on the door. And then, fuck, we're rocking and rolling. So, but there's still a long ways to go. And I'm getting hungry. It must be almost lunchtime soon. Alright guys, we're getting some plug welds done along there. This was where I gave it a light tack and I closed the chunk lid to make sure it looked alright. I gave it a tack in there. Well, that's a little more than a tack now because I already tried it. So here's what's going on along here. So as I told you, I don't know if you can see that line, I've cut to here. And I'm cutting and the piece is falling down. There it is. It's falling down inside. Just pull it out. And as I'm going, I'm just spot welding it. And it's nice and level. Look, I'm not cutting myself on anything. And see, here it is welded up solid. You know, I'm made sure, everything like I say. You put it on, clamp it on. Sometimes you got to put a tack here and there and try it. You know, obviously my line is not going to change from the door because I didn't change this. Nice gap. I can't. Anyway, nice and level. Can't run my hand here with the handle in the way, but it's a beautiful gap. So we are rolling along. So I just try and get a few tacks here and there. I kind of jump all over the place is how I do it. Get the clamps off it and make sure everything is working. So my next step will be to play back in here a little bit because I ain't got none of this. So this is still all kind of, you know, loose in there. Make sure that's right. But yeah, we're doing good. Doing real good. God, doesn't even look like the same car anymore, does it? Holy shit, let's close this door and... Holy fuck. 2 brand new quarter panels. Outer wheel tubs. Chunk pan. Rear pan. Chunk lid. Original chunk lid rust free. I got doors that are rust free going on it. Well, the one is on it. You already seen that. I got fenders that are rust free going on it. This car is almost done except for one major. I got to do the rocker too. I forgot we got the rocker, the door. So we're here for a couple more Sundays. But the one major thing we got to do is after all this is done, cut this floor out of here. But, well, there's no floor over there. My plan was not to do this over the winter, over the fall. My plan was to get all the outside done and the engine and tranny fitted. That was my plan. So, as far as, actually I'll leave that door open. As far as I'm concerned, I am doing good. We're on February, and Funday Sundays are going to continue for me right to the end of April, because May to me is car season. I always look at it, car season starts in May. So we go May, June, July, August, September, October, 6 months, and 6 months Funday Sunday. So yeah, you got me for 2.5 more months of Funday Sundays, and I will still slip some in there throughout the summer. There probably won't be doing one every Sunday. I think in the summertime we'll guaranteed get one in a month. I'm going to try my hardest to get 2 in a month. But between camping, trips, wife and I like to go garage sailing. Obviously I like to go cruising in my cars. Kind of hard, the weather's nice. Be out cruising, right? But I am going to get a few more tack welds on here and see where we get from there. Things are looking good. Okay, we've got these two joined up together. Remember, this is the original piece, obviously. And when you're doing this, again, you want to make sure you take your tail light apart and fit it. And what I mean by take it apart is you have to cut this little tab off of this quarter panel. So you got to weld it back up. And as you all know, behind the chrome bezel, there's 2 screws that go into there. So you want to make sure that lines up. Then you want to put your chrome bezel on and get it lined up the best you can. And I'm gonna. There we go. So you can see it's sitting nice and flush. It's sitting nice and flush. Obviously there's a screw like that, there's a little bit of filling here needed, but that is where again the factory lead was. So that'll now be Duraglass. You know. Not really into doing lead. Many years ago I tried doing lead, believe it or not. I still got some of the old tools here for doing it. But I don't know, I wasn't very good at it. I don't know, I didn't give it a lot of time. I probably played with it for like a month when I lived back in Surrey. It just wasn't for me. It's definitely an art and a technique, and those guys that can do it, wow, good on you. Really good on you, but it wasn't for me, and I'm just more into the let's smear a little Duraglass on there and sand her down and call it a day, right? So it is what it is. But now, so we got all this done. We're going to continue cutting along here and getting this piece out and spot welding it in. I'm actually quite amazed because the back end's done. I'll get this at least all tacked in somewhat today, and we're almost going to have this quarter on today, I think. I think we're almost going to have it on. I've had my lunch now. You know, I've got like 3 hours left here in the day, so I think we're going to get there. If we don't get it all done today, we will definitely be very close. That's fine with me. That's another good day. Alright guys, what we're doing here, that's what I told you. I'm just cutting slowly along. Then I just reach inside here and pull the metal through. We only got a little bit more to go, then it's done. And then, I say, just tack after tack after tack. Right here I tacked it all. And that's smooth. Like this is going to have such, the filler that's going to go on here, when I'm done, is honestly going to probably be the thickness of a piece of paper or a teeny bit thicker, that's it. Well, you know what? Matchbox cover. Or matches. You know the old matches? The thickness of that, that's all you're going to have there. It's turning out so good. Happy at that. So I just pulled that piece away inside, and then this just levels out level, and then I'll just spot, and I'll cut the rest, and boom. Then you just keep going back and forth, back and forth. That's my trick anyway. It's always worked out for me. Love it. Nice clean butt weld. Go inside the car after where you can. Get in there the best you can. Knock down the weld. I usually knock it down. So if someone ever feels in there, they don't feel nothing. Not that they're going to, because I'm going to have door panels on, right? Because you can get up underneath here. So I try and knock it down. And then after that, what I do is I take a light, just like a handheld little flashlight. Those ones they have nowadays, those LED ones. I hold it up underneath in there. And I look for any light that may come through, or maybe I've got a spot where you have a pinhole or something you might have missed. And you're always going to have one, I guarantee you that. And then, like I say, I get in there, spray some rust paint on the back side. Then I let it dry. Then I seam seal it. I let that dry. Then I texture spray it. So, I don't know. That's what I do. And that's that. So I'm going to get back to welding. Okay, so I've got it plug welded in here. What that's plug welding to is, like I showed you earlier in the video, this, when you take it off, there's a steel plating behind here, and that's what that plug welds onto. And I've got it all welded up all the way along here. Now, what I did different on this quarter than the other side was the other side was all gone and rotten, so we put the full quarter on. Like I said, we went right into the doorway, window thing, everything. On this quarter, I cut it here. Cut it all the way along here. Oh, sorry guys, the sun's shining into the window, making it hard here to film. So I saved this piece because it's solid all the way down. So I just butt welded it all back here. So I got that all done. Now what we got left, of course, you can see I just keep stitching it up. I've already got this part done. And I finished it all off along the window here. So I got to finish this off. I think I'm going to get this done. I got an hour and a half still to go, but I got a little bored. Sometimes you just get tired of welding and grinding, and you need to just take a break, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes better to step away and walk away from something, take a break, and move on to something else. And I did. This door is garbage, so I ripped everything out of it. All the latch system, the striker, whatever you're going to call it, all the windows, the glass, it's all gutted. So that door is ready to come off here soon. Won't take it off quite yet, but I went onto that and got that all gutted. So now I will go on to finishing this up. There's no way that's going to take an hour and a half. So, and then we got to make a patch back in here. We got some work to do in here, all right? So we got to clean this up. This isn't the greatest. When I went to weld here, I didn't realize it was still some lead in there. So we'll cut this out and make a nice little patch in there, take care of that. And then, which I know will get done today, this quarter's on. It's finished. Here's what we got done on a Sunday Funday. We got a door gutted and a quarter on. Well, not on yet, so I better put this camera down and get to it. That's it, people. We got 1/4 panel finished and welded on today. We started at 10 and we're finishing at 4:30. And we got the old door gutted of all its parts, and I quickly jammed the other door on. And like I say, these are original doors from 1955. They are not aftermarket. They were dent-free and rust-free. So it's got original doors untouched, original trunk lid untouched. I got an original hood untouched. Don't get me wrong, there was probably the odd little like ding in it that got fixed on it, but there was no rust repair on any of these items. Even the fenders are rust-free. So, we've only got aftermarket quarters and a floor. If you think about it, it's pretty good. But anyway, the door's on there. Opens and closes. Nice. See if I can get that. It's kind of hard to, there's no handle and you kind of, I can't get my finger there to push it open, but you have to trust me. It opens nice. Nice gap, all lines up. All lines up there, lines up there. That's your main thing. You want to watch your body lines when you're doing it, right? Always put your doors on with your strikers off. Never put your strikers on. Leave the strikers off. Hinge your door, put your door on, leave your strikers off. Start from there. Okay? Remember that. So you also want to make sure when you put your doors on that front of your door is in line with the edge of your rocker. You don't want it past the rocker. You don't want it back from the rocker. You want it in line with the rocker. If you're going to go forward of the rocker, the problem is you're going to have an issue later when you go to put your fenders on, because your fenders come down and follow that line and swoop down to that edge. So you always want to keep it in line with that. So anyway, it looks like we'll be back next Sunday Funday. We've got a rocker panel to do, right? And we've got to finish off all this. Don't forget, back here, we've got this shit show going on, that like we fixed over there. So we got to deal with that. We still got a little fitting on the trunk to do. The trunk's not, I can't close it completely. I got a vice grip thing in there. But I do have a nice line. You can see the line is there. And the line is there. But I got a little fiddling around to do with the trunk. So that's okay. Just the lid. That's just a matter of adjusting it, really, I think. Kind of hard on a trunk lid by yourself. That's the one thing. But I'm happy. Look at that. This car is after I take care of that, this car is rust-free on the out and the rocker. It's rust-free on the outside except for this horrible floor. Which, like I say, I bought a complete floor pan with all the braces under it, everything. It's sitting in the carport bay. After we get, so our plan is next Sunday, I definitely want to tackle the rocker. I want to get the rocker done before I worry about the trunk. That way I can just say this side of the car is done. Then we'll go around the back, tackle the back. I think that's going to pretty much eat up our whole Sunday. And I am hoping the following Sunday, we're going to take this little 409 over here, that's been sitting here, that's going to go in it. We're going to take a little 409, bolt the transmission up to it. Now we're not using this frame, I've got a better frame. This frame's all fucked up, all dented in. You can see it's all been smashed and dented. But we're going to put the V8 mounts in here for the 409. They just bolt in place. We're going to put them in there so we can put the 409 in with the transmission. I'll just hold the tranny up with a jack. I'm not going to waste my time to put the cross member in there for the transmission because I'm not using this frame. But like I said, I do got to put the mounts in to set the engine where it's going to go. And then I did one of these a long time ago, many moons ago. If you look, I did a 56 Pontiac for a guy, put a 409 in it. You have to cut the firewall bit because the valve cover is tight to it. So I want to set it in here just to deal with the firewall, get all this shit off the firewall, deal with that and get that fitted. Then this car is done. Everything I wanted to do to this car over the fall got done because I did not plan on tackling the floor pan. The plan was to get all the outside welding done on this car and get the firewall mocked up for the 409. The plan for the shoebox was to get all the welding on it and get it from the firewall back in first bodywork and primer, which I still got to get done. And then my next plan was to finish a few things off on my Model A over there in the other bay and the bar. It needs glass, door glass all put in it, so I want to get that done. It needs the oil pan swapped out because the pan that's on it is an inch lower than it should be, so I got another pan that's an inch higher. And then my 58 Ford, I had planned on completely repainting that car. Yes, it needs a paint job, it's time. But I can just see that right now where time is going, there's not enough time to do it. So I was going to do that, change the heads out. I got a set of, I can't remember the heads. They're from Mopac. I got a set of aluminum heads to put on it. I was going to do that and put a disc brake conversion kit on it. The only thing that's going to get done to the 58 Ford, I might get the heads done, but definitely the disc brakes are going on it. And then I got the wife's wagon. And on the wife's wagon, I got all brand new tubular suspension I want to put under the back, a sway bar under the back, and I want to put a bigger sway bar under the front. It's got the factory one that's a 1/2 inch. I bought one from CPP that's 1 inch. So I wanted to get that done and her steering box swapped out. It's got a shitty steering box in it. It leaks. It's got a leak. So I want to get rid of that. I can't take the leak. So I wanted to do that on her car too. So that is why the 58 Ford will not get painted. So, but everything else will get done. I will get the suspension on her car done. I will get the steering box swapped out. I'll get the Model A glass in, the oil pan swap. My goal is to have all this done by the 1st of May because that's when hot rod season starts, and I think I'll get it done because we're only in mid-February, and I honestly think I'm probably 3 more Sundays into this 55 and it's over. And then the shoebox Ford, that's really not me, that's me putting that onto Sean for him to do it from the firewall back. And that's probably a good, that's guaranteed 5 days, maybe 7 days of him to get all the bodywork roughed in. That's where it's like 75% pretty good, and in first primer. And then that's done. So I think we're doing okay. I'm gonna get the wagon back in here pretty quick. And honestly, the Model A, I don't have to do that on Sunday Fundays. The Model A, I'm gonna start chunking the glass in that thing probably in the next week or two, just over there in the bar. I'm gonna start tacking, putting the glass in it and just get it done. So I think I'm gonna, what have I got? March, April. I got 2.5 months. I can do this. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. Enjoy your Sunday, even if you are maybe watching the Super Bowl. Ugh. Anyway, it's always a good time all the time. I'll see you during the week.